Hello, everybody. I'm Ralph Vacchiano, the SNY NFL Insider, here with Tony Pauline, our NFL draft analyst, also with draftanalyst.com. And we are talking about the Giants in the draft. And in this case, we're talking about what they might do in the later rounds, which is important because when you think about the Giants, they had all those years of not being in the playoffs before last year. A lot of that was because from about 2009 to 2013, they were pretty miserable in the second, third, and fourth rounds of the drafts. So we're going to help them out a little bit and tell them what they should do, who they should maybe look at. A little advice for Jerry Reese. Obviously, a big position of need for them is the offensive line, which a lot of us think they might go in the first round. And pick number 23, they might take an offensive lineman. But if they don't, who can they get? What kind of value can they expect in day two and maybe even day three?
Yeah, I think what their day two picks will predicate on what they do or don't do in day one. If they take a tight end in day one, the second round offensive lineman, you're looking at a left tackle, Antonio Garcia of Troy State. Big, tall, athletic guy who's just gotten better and better, and he's got a tremendous amount of upside, which means he's going to be very good now. He has the potential to be dominant down the road. Guy who may not be a day one starter, but is a tremendous pass blocker. He's long, he's athletic, and he's a guy who could comfortably protect the blind side for Eli Manning. The other kid is a local kid, Dion Dawkins out of Temple. Some people project him at guard, but he had a great 3-year career as the left tackle at Temple. He's athletic. He's got great footwork. He can slide out and protect the edge. Again, you want to extend Eli Manning's longevity, you got to protect him with a left tackle. Either Antonio Garcia or Dion Dawkins, the second round of the draft. I think those are good considerations.
Now, you mentioned tight end, which is a possibility in round one for the Giants. They signed Red Ellison. They re-signed Will Tye. None of them are really dynamic playmaking tight ends. I think in the first round they might jump at O.J. Howard if somehow he was there. But later on in the draft, I don't know if you think David Njoku might slip into the second round. Is that a possibility? Who are other tight ends they can get on day two?
Njoku may slide in the second round, but he's not going to slide all the way to the Giants' pick in the second round. The name to keep an eye on is Gerald Everett of South Alabama, a guy who I heard they liked since the Senior Bowl back in January. He's not the tallest guy in the world, just over 6'2", but he looks like a big possession receiver. Gets down the field, creates a lot of big pass receptions, a guy who you can line up on the line of scrimmage or also in the flanks and send them down the field. Not much of a blocker, but is going to be a great pass catcher for Eli Manning. Jordan Leggett out of Clemson, 6'6", 260 pounds, ran under 4.7 at his pro day. A guy who, again, in the Clemson offense was one of Deshaun Watson's favorite targets, and a guy that they used to send on go routes down the field, and he would catch the ball in the middle of the field, create those mismatches because he's so much bigger than the defensive backs. Both Everett and Leggett need work on their blocking, but still, from day one, they'll offer Eli Manning a big-time target.
Another need for the Giants, which they've spoken about, something they'd like to add, is a back to complement Paul Perkins, who they took in the 5th round last year. Now, they're not averse to taking one high in the draft, but their history is they like those 3rd, 4th, 5th round running backs. Who are some of the names they might be looking at there?
Yeah, Samarjan Perine of Oklahoma, 230 pounds. Grinds it on the inside. Big, strong guy. Would be a good complement to Paul Perkins as an inside grinder. A guy who had a terrific year at Oklahoma. Really did well in the workouts, the combine, his pro day workouts in the lead up to the draft. A guy who's more of a situational type player, but that's what you're looking for. Elijah McGuire, a 3rd down back. Really a legitimate pass-catching threat out of the backfield. I think a guy on 3rd and 5, if you're looking for someone to put in the flanks or use as a receiver out of the backfield, Elijah McGuire in the 4th round is someone to consider, and I know the Giants do like him.
Now, we know that if the Giants are going to take a linebacker in this draft, it's probably not going to be in the 1st round, since they haven't used a 1st-round pick on a linebacker since 1984 when they took Carl Banks. But they actually don't use a lot of picks, period, on linebackers. In the last 10 years, they've only used a pick above a 4th rounder. I think it's twice on a linebacker. They do have a big need there, though. Are there linebackers that you think they're going to look at on day 2 and 3?
Yeah, absolutely. 2 names to remember. Raekwon McMillan out of Ohio State, as well as Alex Anzalone from Florida. Both of these guys are giant type of linebackers. Very intense, dominant run defenders, really lay the wood, hard-hitting, intimidating type guys. Need a little bit of work on their coverage. Maybe guys that on 3rd and 5 you're going to take off the field. But a 1st and 2nd down on those running downs, they basically are guys who I think can offer early production into their rookie seasons.
Tony, great stuff. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching. And make sure you stay tuned to SNY and SNY.TV for all of our NFL draft coverage.